Welcome to Fail Forward Friday with myself, Roche, and the CEO of the show,
Malesela.
Thank you so much for joining us. So we have another exciting episode.
Yes, Doc.
I'm looking forward to this. And I mean, it's long in the making. And yeah, the rule is simple. We talk about business failures, blunders, mistakes, product failures, strategy failures,
leadership failures.
So,
sorry, before you go there, Doc, I like the fact that you put it as CEO. I don't know how the leadership is going to go. We might just make it Fail Forward Friday for our episode. But anyway.
Maybe we must have you here on the hot seat and dissect. But anyway, so thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yes, comment.
And we dissect business stories, basically.
Yes.
And today, when you see us sitting on the same lens, it means we have
It's not that we like each other.
Oh, my word.
No, we like each other, but it's not to say that every day. We're even sharing a mic today, Doc. Okay? But we have a guest, yes, Doc.
Yes, a friend of the show.
A friend of the show.
A new friend of the show.
Yes. We've been having some of those new ones, man.
Yes. So the second is becoming bigger.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So today, you probably have seen her on TV.
Yeah.
Numerous times. I've known her forever. Like,
so you know people on TV.
Before she was on TV, well, she was behind, you know. She was one of those behind aspiring to be on TV. You know, like you see these people, they aspire to be on the screen, and she was still producing with the mic there.
Yeah.
You know, now she's on the screen. I didn't even know that she's going to be on the screen. But you know what?
I was about to say, you knew, Dog.
Yeah, I'm able to spot talent. Look at you. Anyway, getting back on track, we have an amazing guest today.
Yes.
And
can have her introduce herself.
Yes. Welcome to Fail Forward Friday, Liabo.
Thank you so much.
So briefly, we're going to talk about... No, she'll tell us what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because she's bringing her own story.
Yes.
Or stories, rather. But who's
Who
Liabo?
are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm
Welcome.
excited to be here. I've been waiting for my turn.
Yes.
It's finally arrived,
Yes.
and it's so good to be on the other side.
Yes.
Where, for a change, I am not posing the questions, but I'm answering. It's a bit nerve-wracking, but
Now you're going to be
Feel your medicine.
Yeah. So my name is Liabo Setho. My name is spelled Liabo. Not Diabo.
Okay.
Because
it's like
Sotho.
Sotho.
It's a Sesotho ke Mosotho.
Okay.
My name is Liabo Setho. I'm a mom. Before I'm anything else, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. But most importantly, I'm a journalist with 21 years of experience. I'm a business and financial journalist who has found her niche in entrepreneurship reporting. I am the face and brains behind SMME On Point, a very popular segment on SABC News that has been running since 2016. And we have featured more than 500 businesses consistently every single Friday. I describe myself as someone that is obsessed with small businesses. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship. Apparently, I'm known as a SME queen, and I accept it. I like it. So my business is to put small businesses and entrepreneurs on TV and make them known to a lot of audiences that I have the pleasure of having their attention.
You must know a whole lot of blunders then. Because, I mean, how many years has it been now?
It's 21 years as a journalist.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been doing SMME On Point since 2016.
And every week.
Every week, consistently, every single Friday. If you go on YouTube and you type up my name and SMME On Point, you will find the time when I was still skinny as well. That's how far back it was. I've been doing this for forever, and I'm really grateful to have a platform such as the SABC that beams to millions of people.
Yes.
I've gone to places. I remember one time I went to a hospital because I needed to fetch my mom. She was admitted there, and the porter, the guy that pushes the porter at the hospital.
Yes.
She recognized me. I think that was my aha moment. She says, sis, we're SME. And I was like, I knew I had made it. And I also knew I had made it this year year, actually, when I went for a G20 launch in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape, and there were a lot of entrepreneurs there, and I get so excited when I'm around them. And this one guy comes up to me and says, "Hi, Liabo Setho, my name is so-and-so."
Yes.
And I said, "Oh, nice to meet you." And he says, "Can I come and show you what I do?" Of course, you can show me what you do. And he shows me. So what he does necklaces, ne?
Yeah.
But he uses cereal boxes.
Okay,
To
that's
put them
interesting.
together, a specific cereal box.
Yeah.
Actually, not everyone, but he makes it so beautiful and it becomes a beaded necklace.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's
now
very
obviously I'm interested.
Yes.
How did you learn this skill? Where did you learn this skill? He says, "You'll be surprised. I learned this skill in prison. Actually, I'm an
Oh, wow.
I'm an ex-offender, and they would switch on SABC3 on Fridays.
Wow.
Just for us to see the inspiration because of the people that you feature every Friday.
Yes.
And I was so excited. But this was not just an ordinary ex-con. This is someone who actually had murdered the former First Lady, Mrs. de Klerk.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Hectic.
And he has come out after he was
Reformed,
arrested when
basically.
he was 19. And guess what he does when he comes back? Gets into business.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
But I knew I had really made a mark when you have
Yes.
gone into correctional services and ex-offenders can recognize you for the work that one has done.
And get inspired. I mean, that's amazing.
Absolutely,
That is amazing to
absolutely.
say, wow, we actually impacted someone and they're here trying to change their life.
Listen, it's so
That's amazing.
exciting. So I meet amazing people all the time. Amazing. And of course, I have seen some blunders. There aren't too many in my space, right?
Okay,
But they
okay.
are there because our spaces of communication.
Yes.
Right? I rely on you as the producers of the podcast to give me the story. And if you do not know the decorum of
Yes.
how to conduct an interview, you can miss an opportunity. So most of the blunders is mostly of missed opportunities when people did not know what to say, how to say it
Yes,
in
yes,
the right
yes, yes,
platform.
yes.
And other blunders, of course, it's of overusing media, right? When you should be focusing on business, because you can actually get what's the word for it? You can get hooked.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Right? You can
So
get
it
hooked.
is
Addicting.
It is
addictive.
addictive. Yeah, you can get hooked if you are that way inclined.
Yeah.
If you really are the kind of person that likes to be seen and heard. And then also not using the platform when you are now given an interview. It's now on YouTube. You've got the clip.
Yeah.
What are you doing with it? A lot of people don't know how to repurpose that, but I'm sure we're going to get into that a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah?
Before we get into that, how did you decide to niche yourself into, you are a journalist,
Yeah.
right? Or, how did you decide I want to do SMEs?
Yeah.
I did not decide.
Okay.
The most difficult thing is being obedient to God. It is very difficult to be obedient to God because you do things even when you say you don't want to do them. But if you are chosen, when you are the one that's going to do it, you are the one that's going to give a platform to SMEs. You do it. There are days when I wake up and I want to resign, and he's like, "Oh, really?" We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, go and feature so and so.
But why would you want to resign when the people...
Because it is so hectic. Remember, apart from my work as a producer and anchor of SMME On Point, I'm also a reporter. I'm also a business owner. I'm also a mom. I'm also a student. So I'm a lot of things. Sometimes it does get hectic, right? And I think I'm a victim of my own success in that the demand has become so much that I cannot meet it.
Yes.
Because there is no other news platform that actually does what we do.
Yes.
Of giving a specific space at 1:30 on SABC3 consistently to small business owners. At first, people did not know what I was trying to do. But they know. Let me go back a little bit. So one day I'm taken to a story. Every month or every quarter, I get to be assigned a story to do unemployment stories, to do different data stories, right, that reflect the health of the economy at a particular time.
Yeah.
And this particular time, I was doing the quarterly labor force survey, which measures unemployment in the country. And of course, unemployment had gone up.
Yes.
But I'm tired. I was tired of telling the same story every quarter.
It's a shock treatment.
Man.
The stats come out, we're shocked. It's
and then
crisis. After a week, we get back to normal.
Yeah.
And they're sitting stubbornly higher than 30%, right? They're not moving. These are the official stats, and obviously unofficial, they're quite different. And I came to my then editor, Thandeka Qubulembeki, at that time, and I said to her, Sisti, I'm tired of telling these stories. Cannot we tell people something that will tell them a different story? Yeah, unemployment has gone up, but this is what you can do to feed yourself.
Yes.
But here's the trick. Let's not show them multi-million-dollar
Yes,
brand businesses
enterprises
that are
and unattainable.
Let's give them stories of people who look like them.
Yes.
Who live in places where they live, right? And let's give them
Hope.
inspiration. And she says, okay, this was a Tuesday. She says, Dips, it's okay. I want the first one on a Friday, and I want you to look into family-owned businesses.
Yes.
You do not give a challenge like that to me because I went running.
Yeah.
And I knew where to go. I went to my own community in Vosloorus. I went to the Smelane Spaza shop where I grew up. I arrived in Vosloorus, I think I was 5. And they have been in business since then. And still now, in the midst of foreign-owned spaza shops around them, they are still there. And they are family-owned business, very well run. And I needed to tell their story first.
Yeah, that's actually very cool.
Yeah, and I told that story, and I was so proud that I started it in my own backyard. But I was not telling a story that is beyond anyone's dream. I was telling a story of a spaza shop that had been started with a table in little flats, but now has about 3 or 4 branches in the township. And so it went, Like I said, people did not understand what I was trying to do. It had never been done.
Yeah.
There were times when I was like, why are people not
You
saying
mean
anything?
at the SABC?
At the SABC, and even with my competitors,
Ah,
right?
yes.
There was, of course, people tell entrepreneurship stories, but they tell them as part of a news cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to have a dedicated platform where we say this 15 minutes, it is 15 minutes, by the way. This 15 minutes, we're dedicating it to entrepreneurship. It had never been quite done that way.
Yes.
It still has not been done that way.
Yes.
Right. So this is when then SME started. In fact, it didn't start as a consistent show. It started 1 week on, 1 week off. And people started to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And then they started to want it a little bit more. Now I had to negotiate that, listen, we could make this a thing. And so many years later, it is still a thing.
Yeah,
every Friday,
almost 10 years. Wow.
Geez, every Friday, consistently, it's still there.
All because you got fed up.
But
got fed up.
if you obviously say it was a new thing then. Do you feel that as a country, as broadcasters in South Africa, we have done justice to telling SME stories?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Judging by the demand that I have of people wanting to be featured, wanting to be interviewed, you know that there isn't a space where people can breathe about their stories, because we are telling them of stories of multimillionaires.
Yes.
We're not telling them about the guy that started a gardening of spinach and now is making smoothies with that garden. I'm remembering of Hunzi, he's a Panzula.
Yeah.
Right? And he started a jam business using, he plants melon and tomatoes in his backyard, converts them into jam.
Tomato as well.
He's a Panzula. Right? The Panzula that you see on the street, he is that. But he's also an entrepreneur, and now he's gone big. If you go to all these government events, you will find him exhibiting there. He has now gotten support in that his jam has got nice branding and everything. He is like much, much bigger than when I first met him in his backyard in Orange Farm. So there isn't enough platform, and I think each and every broadcaster should have a space for entrepreneurship. If we are saying that small businesses and entrepreneurship are the gateway to growing the economy, can we give them a space to breathe and tell us their stories?
Would you share story of how that exposure or an exposure by your platform has
helped someone,
helped an entrepreneur?
Wow.
I'm sure there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot, but I'll admit my own blunder first, right?
Okay.
Because there is so much of the demand, and I keep it rolling, right? I don't really follow up. Okay, this is where I started, and this is what the interview did for this person, and then maybe tell the story of growth. That is my own blunder, my own show blunder. because of capacity.
Yes.
Because the demand is just
Yes.
too much and cannot be met. And I admit that I should be doing better. But I know that once I featured a gentleman that grows mushrooms in a bucket.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And he sells them. I had never seen anything like that. And I went to his class where he gives training. So I have seen that people are more amenable to me showing them where they can get a training to do a particular business.
Yeah. So
Then
like sewing, for instance, this person does teaching of sewing as
precisely. You will see the number of views, the number of comments, the request for contacts when I
That's
do
good, actually.
that kind of content, as opposed to when I put up a content of someone that I don't know, manufactures something.
Yeah, okay, so it's more of a people that do, because there's a lot more people that want to be able to do something. Like, I want to be able to open up a barber shop, therefore I need to learn
the skill.
Yes, because I can't just become a barber engine now.
Mamela, there's a big demand for that, and I see that with us. That so when I featured that gentleman, the craze, when to this day people still inbox me and ask me for his numbers, right? And he sent me a message and he said, "Liabo, you will not understand what you did for my business. It has boomed. I can't even. I need to look for a bigger space because the demand from all over the country, not just Johannesburg. He is in Johannesburg near Auckland Park, in fact, not just Johannesburg, but across everywhere. People are looking for that kind of skill. Recently, I also featured a gentleman who does cupboards. Right? People are into deco and furniture, but they want to do it themselves.
Yeah, DIY.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have money. I don't have money. We don't have money.
No, we also don't.
No, dog has.
You guys don't
Me, on the other hand, dog has.
Hey, you got to be sending things to me.
No, it's tons of money here. But anyway, he does that class as well on weekends.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see that it was not only people who wanted to start businesses, but it was people who wanted to renovate their own homes. Okay, but people who are in the event and deco management businesses, those were the ones and there were more females in that class. Actually, Bashapale Blanc.
Yes, that's cool.
It together, the headboards, the everything. That was quite a hit as well. Let me think. Who else was quite a hit?
Because I think one of the things that I don't know if you've spoken about this, that often when we talk about businesses, we tend to talk about this romanticized, businesses that everybody is looking at, and there's actually quite a lot of mileage or cash flow or revenue in areas that are traditionally not romantic.
As we say, they're non-sexy businesses.
Yeah, they're non-sexy businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, doing furniture.
Or mushrooms.
Yeah,
right?
Like it's not Instagrammable. People don't look at that as a sexy type of thing, and there's actually quite a lot of money.
But I want to go back, maybe, Doc, to your question to her around what has it done for people? Like, do you know of stories? It's something I always talk to you about around how does exposure impact, like how does exposure actually in the long run help people? And a lot of the time that is for me, that's probably most important. We can give you the platform to do this, we can give you the platform to do that, we can train you, we can do all of these things, but have you been able to actually, has it actually amounted to, listen, now I can feed my family, before I could only feed me, but now I can actually feed my family, because that for me is it's very cool to see that.
Yeah. So we've got the queen of exposure.
Exactly. In South Africa.
Yeah. So we must consider ourselves very lucky. We must bookmark this episode.
You guys make me sound like a serious person, like an important
Very.
No, important people could be non-serious. She
told me that she was here in the building with the president.
Yesterday.
I was, funny enough, when you told me, because we wanted to do this record this episode a day earlier and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I wonder if she's going to be here. Because obviously I work from this, from the offices.
I was.
And I'm like, I wonder if she was here, because Doc says she's going to be here for something. And I mean, there's nothing bigger than what's happening now. The man is coming here, So, then we're seeing them there. I was like, okay.
So we are rubbing shoulders with important people.
Rubbing shoulders.
So there's a thing in the media, right? When you go, because she has interviewed me a couple of times, And I've done.
That's where the experience comes from, dog.
No, man.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm that good.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you trained him well.
So they have this thing where they do like, they will throw a curveball. Like a question that will make you like, okay, I was not prepared for this. So,
oh, is this your curveball?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a curveball.
This is the first curveball, by the way.
So there's been this debate. I mean, you spoke about unemployment, right? And the CEO of Capitec Bank came out and he actually said unemployment is actually 10%. Because we are not taking the informal sector into consideration.
Yeah.
So if you were to take that into consideration, then you actually have unemployment way less than what we think it is. Your views?
He is right and maybe not right. Right in that when you consider the informal economy, which I understand is more than 70%, you have people who actually do not go to bed hungry, right? Because they have been able to make something for the day. But can you call it employment? Self-employment, really? Or can you call it hustle? Or can you call it, just making sure? I'm not sure. Maybe because the definition of employment in economics term is quite different. Perhaps if he had phrased it differently. I agree with him that you have more people pushing, because when you look at the poverty rate, you don't necessarily hear of us talking about that someone has died of poverty. Because one, they have the cushioning from government in terms of grant, etc. And some of them, they repurpose those grants in terms of whether they're playing stockfields with other people in the community, or a person buys a packet of sweets and they start selling it, and thereby being able to buy bread. But can you really call it employment? Is it sustainable?
Sorry, I like what you just said now, because I think the question is it sustainable rather than is it employment?
Is it exactly?
Yeah.
I look, the problem is sustainability here, right? And when you look at the cost of living and how much it has been increasing, yes, of course, inflation, has been quite muted at around 2.8%, around 3%. And we want it there, right? But generally, when you look at the cost of living in the previous years and now your rand or your 100 rand gets you far less.
Yes.
So obviously that means that, you have to work a little bit harder to be able to put more. When you look at the 350 social distress grant of distress, what can you possibly do at 350?
Sure.
Not much.
No, that's not a lot.
But you will not go hungry.
Yes,
right?
At least,
You still qualify for that. So I hear what he's saying, Harry Fourie. I hear what he's saying, but I don't know if we can call it employment.
Should we then have a separate stats for that?
We should.
Like, try and measure.
I understand it's something that's in the pipeline that SATSA is working on to measure the informal economy, because that's quite needed. There's a lot more of it than there is formalized businesses, and we need to look at the impact of the informal businesses, because if you have a business that's not registered yet you are employing people informally, that should be recorded somehow. Then maybe you can talk about giving proper stats to say whether something it can be measured as employment or not. Should it be given a different name? Perhaps.
Maybe let me ask this then. Just to follow up on that, does it mean, because my thing is, I always like playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
Would person being
more the devil?
I know.
The devil does not need an advocate, but anyway, he can represent himself very well. But let's assume he has appointed you.
The angel's advocate. Anyway, so I wanted to ask, do you not think that people then are most likely going to, because measurement exposes, right? And by exposing, it means you see that I actually have, and I don't want to show that I have so that you don't come after me.
Oh, you mean like the taxi thing when we talk about formalizing them, and they have to pay tax, and then now they don't want to pay tax?
Yes, you may be onto something there. That formalizing may mean problem and may mean that you don't get the stats that you want in an honest way.
Yes.
Because not everyone will be willing to disclose, because not everyone wants to be a formal business to begin with. So I don't know what kind of success that is going to have with that.
Yes.
In measuring.
Because it's more of an incentive thing. You need to be incentivized to be able to get someone to say, oh yeah, because of this, I'm going to get that.
You know, I mean, I'm of the view that there's this perception that informal is illegal, right?
Yes.
And I think we need to dispel that.
Yeah, 100%.
That there are some sectors or businesses that actually they're okay being informal.
Yeah.
You know, and we should leave them like that.
Yeah.
You know, unless if they grow to a certain level, then we need to formalize them.
Yes.
Because once we try and demonizing informal sector, you know,
that's a bedrock at the moment.
But there's also
Then
a danger to that, right? And I saw it during COVID. I remember we did the talk together, the TED talk together.
Yes.
And I saw it during COVID about the dangers of also not being formalized, right? Remember there were COVID grants that were extended to businesses, and in fact, only 4% of businesses were able to
get that.
help.
Yeah.
Many businesses had to go down because many do not have the right paperwork and the compliance. Of course, there is a debate about over-compliance of small businesses.
Yes.
You know, should you be taxing them the same way you are taxing other businesses? You know, there is the whole debate about that, which I think is valid, and we should talk about that. How do you mete out compliance with informal businesses so that when there is a COVID-20, they're able to benefit from. They're able to benefit
2.0.
Yeah, they're able to benefit from COVID relief funds. So while it is, it's nice. You know, you make your money and it comes. Of course, you pay tax in other ways. But you know, you're making your money and you can see it coming into. But imagine if you were compliant and you were able to expand your business and your offering or your service beyond the borders of South Africa.
Yes.
Oh, man, I would love to see more of that. And we have so much talent that's hiding under the informal blanket.
Yes.
And that has a lot of possibilities and
Doc and I actually spoke about that recently around how we were sitting for lunch. Doc took me out for lunch. You know, the benefits of being Doc.
No, I was thanking the CEO for holding the fort in my absence.
When you're jet setting.
You know,
I'm going to talk for you that he takes you out in lunch as well.
I'm just falling into these traps one by one. Anyway, I'll just keep quiet. Anyway.
And we're talking around how where was I going with this now? Okay, but so we're sitting down and we're talking about how obviously within a community, within a village, within an informal sector, you almost need to get those people outside, because if you're producing for your own people, the money stays in, but the problem is it doesn't grow.
There's no growth.
And that's one of the things that I liked from what you were saying, Doc, in that is that you almost need to get yourself or these formal people
to export
the market
that can afford.
You almost now obviously it's almost like we're solving South Africa's problems. You incentivize formalization so that you can actually get them to say, listen, you also can go out if you formalized with us. That would be interesting.
So last curveball, and we get into the blunders. So I mean, talking about formalization, I mean, one of the things, and I would like to hear your views and your view as well. One of the things that the government has tried to do to sort of say, okay, let's try and formalize this thing, not this thing, but these people.
Yeah.
You know, is the invention of co-ops, cooperatives. So we're like, no, we have 10 people or 5 people. Let's try and bring them together and they register a co-op. So instead of just empowering one person and giving him money alone, at least we give the co-op.
So you bundle them and you say work together.
Yes.
I don't believe in that.
Have you experienced that? Have you worked with people who have had experience of that?
I'm not sure about working, but definitely reported on something. In fact, recently when I was in the Eastern Cape in Gqeberha, because they are basing their whole G20 contribution on the ocean's economy, right? So there are co-ops there who have been given rights to certain lakes and fishing lakes
licenses,
and licenses, but they were not given equipment for a very, very long time. So you have these people who are now selling their rights to people who already have the equipment in the business and can do something about it. And it has unintended consequences, right? And I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, we are a cooperative. You are giving us rights to fish in this particular place, but you're not giving us any equipment to do so. You're not giving us money to buy equipment. You're not giving us grants. You're not giving us anything. And thereby, that thing becomes a failure in that we start to sell our rights to people who are business owners,
but not the intended recipients.
Not intended recipients. And I see a lot more of those kind of things. I wanted to use this as example so that you kind of understand the challenges. Like you, I'm really not a fan. Yeah, the cooperatives, and it's quite a thing, you know. I remember growing up, you know, I would hear cooperatives. No, we must start a cooperative of farming. No, man, that's not.
So obvious.
The reason I say I don't like it is it's a morality thing for me. Is you forcing people to come together, and you don't know that dog steals money, Malesela, launders money.
No,
you know what I mean?
Man, why are you being malicious now?
No, but
we can all be going to church.
No, and that's the thing. You're almost leaving it up to hope.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're leaving something so important.
Never thought about this.
That you're leaving it so important that it's very hard, you know, because I need to choose that I trust dog to work with dog because dogs track record. Exactly.
We are fine.
But we knew each other before this, dog.
Okay.
You know, and that's my issue with it. In fact, I like what you're saying, and I'm saying off of it. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and the story of what you're saying now, where you force people. On how you force people into a cooperative, and you then go out and say, okay, guys, here's land to farm, but you don't have the equipment, kind of thing. It's a story of maybe it's not a selfish thing. It's not a selfish thing, but it's an unprepared thing. So you want to give someone responsibility, but you the one that came to them and said, hey, use this. Oh, here's something that you can do, and you have to run with it. But you can't run with something that you don't have any first of all experience. Maybe you don't have tools. Another thing. I'm going to give you a good example. This is more from a private point of view, right? There's a private institution that my friend works for, and is a lecturer for this place. And what happened, he was telling me the other day, they went to almost like a like a small town in the Western Cape. And they have these every year. And what they do is they come and say, hey, this is our tertiary institute. Come study here. We can give you bursaries. And then he says something to me. He's like, but you know what, Mali? What confused me is that, okay, he asked the person, oh, that's actually very cool that you guys give bursaries, right? Do you also give them for accommodation? He's like, no, they don't give accommodation. They're like, okay, but wait, this institute is in a certain affluent place that the cheapest rent you can get is 10,000 rand per person. Wow. How are these people, you're giving them education, where they're going to stay? You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with cooperatives where, I mean, guys, who are you doing this for?
It's almost like saying, at least I did something.
Exactly. It's laziness.
It's like, at least I caused them.
Exactly.
I hooked you
Okay.
up.
The spaza shops and the grants and the formalization. How is that going?
I'm actually looking forward to following up on that story. I already have a colleague who does have a spaza shop who already told me that he still has not received communication about whether his application has been successful or not. And I'm looking forward to speaking to more people to find out, because I was one of the people who was in the forefront reporting about it, right? It's a nice initiative, but how many locally owned spaza shops do we have?
Yeah.
To begin with, how many of those are compliant? Right? And we did see other people starting to have spaza shops after the fund was announced.
Standard. Obviously,
right.
Opportunity,
yeah, I get it, but imagine the people who have been there.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was at that briefing with Minister Stella Ndabeni and Pakistan Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, and they were doing a demonstration of how everything needs to be done. And I remember that it is mostly people who of mature age are running spaza shops and may not necessarily have adequate computer skills to be able to do that. Why don't you just do this thing manually?
Yeah,
and
for
then
now,
people submit their forms, because a lot of people might just get stuck at the point where they need to upload documents and understanding certain terminology. Of course, don't get me wrong, thinking that everyone does not know, but I mean, spaza shops, they serve different communities, and I understand that
different age groups as well.
And digital transformation. Maybe you could get your child to help you.
Yes.
Have we really arrived there? The initiative itself, I think, is great, but when you look at the trajectory of spaza shops and how they've been dying, locally owned ones.
Yeah.
If you're saying you're putting away 500 million to be able to resuscitate that, when you don't have people starting spaza shops because the foreign-owned spaza shop owners are kicking them out of business, who exactly are you doing this for? I will be working on this story in the near future to look at the uptake, but I can tell you now that the uptake is not going to be big.
I think the frustration with me in South African approach to try to sort of resuscitate or grow the SME spaces, it's sort of like this American approach where it's left to individuals, leaving it to everyone. You apply, you do this. We need to kind of have, and you know this, I'm a fan of the Chinese approach where we come up with a strategy how this thing is going to benefit everybody. And so we have this program where we are saying we're going to need the whole value chain. We look at the whole value chain from manufacturing, distribution, retail, advertising and all those. So you build that value chain. And then you get the players, plug in those players, right, on the value chain, right? Because spaza shops, there's a whole value chain to it. So if you just focus on the end, the retailers, right? And you don't look at the entire, you're going to repeat the same mistakes that these guys have been making, and they won't be competitive with the foreign national owned spaza shops because the foreign owned spaza shops, it's a network. Right? But when you just come with we just put a bandage here, put a bandage here.
Yeah. Look, I mean, maybe to second what you're saying in a way, and maybe with the formal, why the foreign national spaza shops are working is that they need to work together. Without having that network, they don't survive. You know what I mean? But they know they buy in bulk and then they share among whatever. We don't have that
so it's kind of like if you're going to save the spaza shop industry, you're going to have to look at that blueprint.
Is there a spaza shop industry?
No, I'm saying if you're trying to build it,
Dog is trying to build it.
You're gonna have to replicate the blueprint. Because if you don't, it's not gonna work.
100%.
It's gonna work. You're just throwing money.
Call the Chinese.
Maybe it's my time to ask you questions about that. Here in Tshwane, the mayor Nasipi Moya has mentioned that she believes that spaza shops should be reserved for South Africans. What do you guys think about that?
Sure. I mean, so there's two approaches. I mean, there's the whole domain of you close off the market to foreigners and you just operate locally. My view is, even if you were to do that, if you don't have, so let me use a topical thing with the Americans and onshoring of jobs, like bring back the jobs to America. One, are the Americans ready to do their factory jobs like the Chinese do, right? Are South African local people ready to run a spaza shop like the foreign nationals do, where you open at 5 and you close at 10 at night, right? Consistently.
And not because you want to, but because you have to.
Yes. Right?
For them.
So and I think we need to look at that readiness. Because you might throw these guys out, but, no one is feeling that gap.
100%.
Two, are we willing to collaborate? Because how these guys are doing it's collaboration.
100%.
Right? My sense is, as black people, we're not there yet. When it comes to collaborating and coming to working together, we're not there yet. Now, the consequence thereof is, they might own them, but the quality, the price, the working hours. And so it's kind of like, for me, that's not the problem. The problem is the work ethic,
Yes.
the ability to work together.
Yes.
Right? And someone can argue, no, but we have Stokvels where we come and we contribute every month.
That's
blah,
a
blah, blah.
Stokvel.
That's a Stokvel. That's a different mentality. Running a business where we're going to say, guys, let's come together. Let's share transport.
Yeah.
5 of us.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go buy in bulk.
Yeah.
10 of us.
Yeah.
We don't have that mindset.
So you mentioned that. I remember the story that you gave to me, Doc. Was it the last episode or episode before that, where you're talking about the friend that took you home when you're still in high school?
Yes.
And they opened shop every day. They have to open at 3 o'clock.
It was a shock to the
You know what I mean?
This is school holidays.
In the morning.
Yes.
3 o'clock in the morning.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
School holidays. My thing is school holidays, you wake up at 9.
Yeah.
There it's like, right? I'm not so sure if as South Africans, one can argue that maybe we can get there. Maybe that's what we need. But I struggle with, and I see it with not only Spar Shop, with other industries.
Yeah.
Whether it's Uber or Bolt, whatever. And I say, guys, you are being harassed by taxi drivers. Can't you come together
Yeah.
and form an association of some
Yeah.
sort? 1 or 2 in Pretoria, right?
Yeah.
They're not being harassed by taxi drivers. They go pick up at Bosman Station.
Yeah.
You go pick up as a black Uber driver. They're going to set you alight. But one or two gets to and it picks up. And they took the municipality to court because they were harassed by Metro Police to say, no, you don't have permits, right? They didn't complain. They said, okay, fine. They apply for permits.
Oh, Vanatu.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Vanatu.
Yeah, I think that's what they call it. Vanatu. Vanatu, yeah.
Yes, okay.
So they took the municipality to court to say we have been applying for permits. They're organized.
Yes.
Right? So as organized, they're able to get a lawyer through their association. They take the municipality to court. They get to court. The judge asked the municipality, why not issuing permits?
Yeah.
They said, no, we have a backlog.
Then why you...
So whose problem is it?
Yeah.
Right? Sort out your backlog, stop harassing these people.
Yes.
Now, I'm asking myself, do we have that ability to organize ourselves that way? And in the absence of organizing ourselves that way, you can say we need to own the economy, not even the economy. We are not going to be able to own the economy if we are not organized.
I think for me, it's also like it can be possible. I don't mind it. For me, it's neither here or there. My thing is what Doc says, a work ethic. First of all, and Doc, you've said this to me quite a number of times. Business is patience, meaning the people that are going to go into it, you need to be patient enough to be better than the foreign nationals. It should never be a hand me over. Because what's going to happen with the hand me overs is that they're going to squander it. We've seen it time and time again, where you give someone something and they think, oh, it was that easy to do. And then they squander the opportunity. And that's my problem, is that you can do it South Africa, cool. Have the South African only be spazas, it's okay. But are you going to do what you need to do for those people at the end, for me and you to go to the shop and buy exact bread? Then I'm going to get fresh bread. Those people can offer me. Therefore, I will go to those people that are going to offer me. Whether you're foreign, people are not buying foreign. They're buying
the product.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're buying the product.
Accessibility.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do need to develop the value chains though, because I mean, this is something that Stella Ndabeni once said, that imagine in the Kota market, right? You have they growing potatoes.
Yeah.
Right? For
Yeah.
the chips. You have someone else that's selling the flour.
Yes.
Lamini is selling the flour.
Fish
Someone
oil.
else is selling we've got an entrepreneur somewhere doing that, and you have
Entrepreneur, that's
everything.
good.
You have everything within reach, right? That would make the product much more affordable and accessible, and everyone wins in the value chain. But like you both say, we have a long way to get in there, to changing the mindset of South African business owners, South African entrepreneurs about, where do you want to see yourself in the value chain? Because very often we want to see ourselves at the top, where we're taking everything, reaping the rewards, but you're not thinking about
the process to get
the Kota industry is never going to survive without potatoes and chips, because that's what makes it, and it's something that's uniquely South African. But how many people are thinking about using grow bags to grow potatoes, which is an easier model? right? You buy 10 grow bags, you buy everything, and you grow potatoes in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you give Memankosi their potatoes, like you don't need to buy them.
That's clever.
Right? But we need to help each other in terms of changing the mindset, right? And not thinking about, how much am I going to have? Because with time, you need to know about giving value first.
Yeah.
Right? And value will now give birth to all this money that you want in your account. But what are you known for? Are you known for, no? Or this person, the one thing about them is that they will give you a good product.
Yeah.
And they are very professional. We still need to professionalize businesses.
Yes.
Right? It's still lacking.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that in future I'll be part of the people that bring those kind of things that I have seen in the industry. The most important being the mindset, right?
Yes.
Particularly of Black entrepreneurs. We need to change the mindset and how we view business, and not view business as a money-making
100%.
thing, but a value-changing lives, change-solving problems. And once we can get that, we can even compete in international stages. Right now, we are driven a lot by poverty and maybe hunger,
Politics of the stomach.
politics and unemployment, etc. But man, I can't wait to be part of the people who bring the change to the SME landscape in the country in future.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's get into the failures. So we went all circle to get here.
Yeah.
All right. So stories, people come, the media, you interview them.
Yeah.
That being interviewed, it's scary.
Is it,
Not
Doc?
that bad.
It's scary. They say
You
that.
interview me every week,
Yeah,
Doc.
but live on national TV.
What are you saying in national TV live that you're not saying when it's pre-recorded?
No, I mean I can ask Tiamo to edit that thing out. Like Tiamo, take that thing out. No. Like, there you blunder, like you start like you go see the whole world is watching. the whole world is watching Tatazela.
So like I said earlier on, the blunders in my line of work are quite different, right? In that it's a communication space, and I give a platform to entrepreneurs to be able to tell their stories. And unfortunately, not a lot of people are trained to be able to tell their stories and shape their messaging well.
Yes.
And by extension, you find that a lot of people miss opportunities of selling themselves and selling the product.
Yes.
Perhaps I'm going to end up being a little masterclass of sorts.
Okay, yeah.
So it's important that when you go for an interview, you know what you want to say.
Sure.
Right? And there are tricks that media training, which is a service I offer, are able to give you to be able to. What happens when Diabo doesn't ask you the questions you're expecting Diabo to ask you?
The curveballs.
Remember, the important thing is that I'm a news outlet at the end of the day, right? Especially because my SME On Point is within a business show.
Yeah.
So I can't veer off the news, the news flow. So if I am going to have Dr. Roche on my show, look at what's currently happening.
Sure.
Yesterday in this building, we had the Austrian president. And
yes.
Let's talk about how South African entrepreneurs can take their products
to Austria. Yeah.
Okay. I'm most likely going to ask about that. I'm most likely going to ask about the G20. So your homework is to how do you prepare yourself by looking at what's in the news cycle?
Sure.
What is topical? What is the bad news? What's the good news? And how do you use that as a hook?
Okay.
Okay. Let me give you an example once again. We're talking about the Austrian business, and I say, we just saw the president was speaking about, how South Africa is open for business, but the Austrians as well, they want South African products on their market. How are you preparing yourself?
Sure.
You didn't even know that the Austrian president was here.
Ish.
You didn't hear what the president said because you don't watch news, because you don't read, because you don't consume, which is a very big blunder that a lot of entrepreneurs do. They're so concerned with running the business, which is good. It's great. But you're running a business within the people, within the economy, within
the environment.
The politics, the economy, and sometimes even sports drives business. How do you need to know what's happening so you know where the opportunities and the threats are, what you need to avoid and what you need to embrace and to run with it.
Yeah.
So the biggest blunder I see that a lot of entrepreneurs, they come and will sit on set and they have no idea what's happening in the news cycle.
Yeah.
So what happens when you ask them that question like that?
Those that know how to veer off, they'll say, "Oh, I haven't had an opportunity to watch, the news.
That specific thing,
but it's
yeah.
already putting a if there was someone that was willing to invest in your business, you've just, a score less. Because it's like, okay, but that's quite topical,
Yeah.
So, and others, they just completely freeze. And you as an anchor, as a host.
Have you had those moments?
I have them all the time.
I'm sure.
But you know what?
I'm sure.
Radio silence.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about being an anchor, right? Is that it is not about you shining at that moment.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe I'm an old school anchor. It's not about you shining. At the end of the day, the show needs to look good for both of us.
Yeah.
You are not on my show for me to shine on your blunders.
Yeah.
Right? If I can already see that you are struggling, you need to find a question where you will interject so that this person comes back again. Because can you imagine if this person walks off set because they are scared because there's a problem, right?
But that does not happen.
I'm sure it does.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But you need to possess the skill. I, on the other hand, I need to possess the skill.
Yes, to
where
kind
I
of
can
hone
see
it
that
back in.
Malesela is struggling
Yeah.
with and I'll interject to say, oh yeah, no, I know a lot of people may not have seen that, but let's talk about your business. Then it's coming back.
It's like what it's like. They come up with this shock thing, and they shock you,
Yeah.
And then they're like, so
and then it's like, oh, sorry. let's see how you respond. And when you see you're struggling, they leave you for a while. You come back, they shock you again.
Look, and then you will not have everyone who thinks perhaps the
Yeah.
way I do that it's a win-win game. Now I want
Yes.
to have a good show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want people looking at me and thinking, when is this you wanted to shine by yourself?
Yeah.
And I don't want to embarrass you.
Yeah.
You are my community. SMEs
Yes.
and
Yeah.
entrepreneurs are my community, and it's my responsibility to make everybody shine. Okay? So, yeah.
Can I have I want to ask a question. Like,
Yeah, shoot.
There's the famous, the famous interview. Yeah, the guy with the socks.
As Boo.
Yes, booze. Yeah, skinny
Actually, I was
socks.
looking at my photo with him the other day.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And then he goes, they ask him, the interviewer asks him, they're talking about doing something. And
It
then,
was Colin Limawane
Yes.
interviewing him. I remember
Yes.
that interview very well.
and then he goes, they're like, but the whole thing goes where he's just sitting there. He's like, no, I want 5 million. They're like, no, but Colin, you need, but Boo, you have to do this. I don't want solutions. I want 5 million. What
Yeah.
do you do? Like, I mean, that's a kind of blunder that I think of, because that is live.
That is live, and you need to manage that. Okay, now you can see that this person is really getting emotional.
Yeah,
right?
because the
And
interviewer was emotional as well.
unfortunately.
He's like, you need to get, and you also need to be humble.
You need support. You need, no, I don't need support. I want 5 million.
Yeah.
But you come back with making it light and making it. Well, on this show, we don't have 5 million, but we can definitely hope that there are people who have 5 million who will be able to watch you. So, what would that 5 million mean for you?
Yes. What do
would
you do with it? Yes.
Exactly. So you have to find a skill in which you bring this person back, because this person is hurt. Okay. And like I say, I hate embarrassment on air.
Yeah.
But you need to find a way to bring the person back.
But what does that do to your brand as an entrepreneur?
Because everything lives on the internet.
Yes.
Malesela, just remember, this is more than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, it sits there on the internet, but you can always come back from it. And when you're having speaking engagements, you can actually even refer to that.
Yeah.
So have you had those moments where somebody's emotional on the show?
Not
as not that dramatic.
Not emotional,
but where you can see the
outbursts.
person is getting emotional.
During COVID, when businesses were shutting down and dying, she's now a friend. She was running a successful boutique. Right, and those businesses were the first to go. She had now to vacate. She had to let stuff go. Everything. I mean, I was seeing firsthand what COVID was doing to her business. Yeah, and she cried on air. On air. Luckily, it was a virtual interview, right? But you still need to be human when you are dealing with entrepreneurs. Because this is a person's livelihood, and she had just lost her business. Close. I mean, everything was going, and I think at that time she was also losing her marriage. At the same time, you just let the person be for a few seconds. you don't now cry with them. Okay, sometimes I'm tempted, but you don't now you don't cry with them, but you let them have that moment, and you say, as we can see that Dr. Roche is quite emotional
at this moment,
but then you appeal to their to their inner selves. Like, I can see you are emotional right now, and this is a heartbreaking story. What would you like to see happen? It's not a skill that everyone has. I mean,
I was about to say, that's a really good skill to have.
After so many years, you develop skills. I mean, it was not always like this. I was not always like this. I also grew in the industry to understand these kind of things.
You'll grow as well, Doc.
Well, I haven't been at that stage, but I mean, I could imagine an entrepreneur who's emotional about something, and they happen to, I mean, there was this whole interview clip of, I think also in COVID, of on site they were doing an interview of this two guys, and there's a Xhosa guy, and he's like, and you can see the other guy is like a bit shy, So I mean, what would you advise entrepreneurs who are emotional about a topic?
You know what? It's also important to let the truth and the emotions about an issue come out. You cannot always sanitize and close it with certain decorum. Okay. Sometimes let the emotions run themselves, right? It may trend a few days, but those with much more mature conviction, they'll understand what was happening. Okay, because at the end of the day, businesses are run by people. People 100%. Have emotions, and you cannot always want to bring perfect content on air. In fact, you shouldn't bring content on air, perfect content. You should be bringing real content. And if a person at that time is that riled up, let them. Let them be riled up, but you as the interviewer need to find a way of bringing it back together. But I'm sure you've also seen, this is slightly outside of the entrepreneurship space, but you've seen how grieving people who have lost loved ones on TV, and how the camera will be on them. No, the reporter doesn't say, Oscar, I'm sorry, Mama. Let them have that moment, because it appeals to people's emotions, right? And it is a true moment, and that's a moment that you need to let things. But if you see that this person is about to embarrass themselves,
then
you find a way of nicely coming in. I see you are very, emotional about this. Come here, let's talk about what's making you so frustrated about this. I want you to tell our audience so that they understand. Maybe some of them actually feel the way that you do. You're already calming them down to say there's nothing wrong about what they're doing. Perhaps you can guide them in doing them in a certain way, right? So I believe that it's important to let emotions and moments run themselves out, and as authentically as humanly possible.
So one, they're not prepared. They don't know, what's happening around. Two, obviously, you need to be able to manage your emotions. Don't surprise them, but manage them.
But manage your emotions.
Other blunders that you've seen?
Look, other people, they will come in studio and just not know how to speak. Right? And you can miss a moment. When I give someone a tip and I say, always imagine that there's someone out there that's willing to put 10 million rand in your business. So it's almost like, doing a, what do you call it? A pitch, right? It's almost like pitching. But you need to learn the skill and art of communicating. Right?
That's a very hard skill.
It's a very hard skill, but it's the skill that when you listen to more interviews, when you consume a lot of news and current affairs, and you hear how other people say things, you also develop that language, right? And a lot of people, besides the fact that English is not a first language for many of us, all right? So that can also be quite a thing.
A hurdle as well.
Now I need to interview this person in an English platform, but they cannot speak English. Do I, as an anchor, have the skill to be able to say, it's fine, let's do it in Sesotho, and still be able to translate? If you can learn the art of communicating and saying what your business is about and how you're solving problems, you're already one way up. I've seen the most successful businesses, especially those in developed economies, you know how they speak. You're already sold. You already want to know what this app is, and you already want to download it because of the way that they speak.
Yeah, they sold.
You know,
the story.
some other people are quite docile. You know, a person will say, "Hey, my friend, my sister, we are just trying. You know, we're trying to make living." You know,
So that's the type of words you use.
Because if you say that, you're already not giving me confidence in me watching you if I'm sitting at home, because you almost need to be.
Sazama.
Maybe it's no,
not on TV.
You even if you are not on TV, just generally.
Or one word answers, and then you just give. How's your business? It's fine.
Yeah, how's your business? Oh, tell me about your business. Oh no, we sell cups.
Yeah.
And that's it.
What kind of cups do you sell, Malesela? I know we sell white cups. So tell me, why did you decide to sell cups? No, we just saw them in China Mall and decided to put them together and sell them to people.
That's it. China Mall.
So you have to say more.
You have to sell your product. And I use this example. If you were to run into me at a spa or any grocer, and you recognize, this is Liabo from SMME On Point, you need to make me want to come and interview you. Hi, Liabo, how are you? I'm well, thank you. And I watch SMME On Point. You're doing a good job. Okay, I'm praising myself here. You're doing a good job. But listen, man, I was wondering if you have an interest in telling the story. We run a very successful podcast where we speak to entrepreneurs and we make sure that we get stories out there about the biggest blunders. We talk a lot about successes of businesses, but not a lot of people talk and are that vulnerable with the blunders and mistakes that they have made.
Yes.
And I wonder if I'd have an opportunity to talk about and educate your viewers, not me, your viewers, about being okay with having certain businesses blunders and that you will bounce back again.
Yeah.
If it's kind of this is something that you would like to, I'm sold. Monday I'm there with you with the camera. Okay. So it's an art of practicing about what you are doing, how it's impacting people, and how it's solving problems around you, right? So that skill of pitching in about 5 minutes, because an average interview on my segment is about 6 minutes. What can you do with 6 minutes? One, you cannot be very slow and take your time. You're not the president.
Okay.
Yes, Doc.
And I'm guilty of it.
Somebody's quite chilled. Somebody's quite chilled, and I have, when he has come to my platform, he can see with my eyes that I'm.
Yes.
Let's go. But because here's the thing: sometimes you are on air and it's about 1 minute 20 into the interview, and the team on the other side, they say, Liabo, there's a breaking news right now. We have to cut the interview. What have you said in that 1 minute 20 second? You have still said, I want to.
So that's why I'm no longer invited. Okay, now I get it.
This is exactly what she's saying, Doc.
Okay, I'll prepare better.
Call this a little bit of a masterclass about, you need to get your most important parts in first in case something happens. Malesela, tell us about your business. Oh, thank you for giving me this opportunity. But let me tell you first about, how we're making a difference in people's lives. Right? You're already giving me impact before you tell me about what you do. We make sure that we get the voices out there because we've seen how this and this and this has happened. Back to your question. We are so and so and so and so.
Sure.
We've already, in that 2 minutes, you've already sold everything that I ask you afterwards about what's happening in the news cycle. What do you think about what's happening in the economy and the slow growth of the economy? I'm glad that you asked that, Liabo, because in fact, this is one of the things that we're trying to deal with. So you're answering me and also telling me how you guys are doing that.
So get to the point as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible.
Because I've been to the SABC for an interview and it was cancelled because of a breaking. Something happened. I drove all the way.
No, Doc, it was you. The problem was you.
I drove all.
Then
they said, "No, we'll reschedule."
It does happen a lot. But it's important to keep on sharpening your your speaking skills,
Yes.
so that when the time comes, and I do realize that it's not every business that has the cash flow, that has the finances to be able to get that training, but you do have free resources. Right?
These days, information is free.
It's free. You can do that to try and sharpen your communication. And the more you do interviews, the better you get at it. And the more people see you and you go to different platforms. But what are you going to do with that interview once it's done?
Yes.
One of the other blunders that I've seen is that people thinking that when you get the interview, I think you mentioned this earlier, you get the interview and you think you're going to have money after it. Who's going to pay you, my friend?
Yes.
Right? But how do you repurpose that interview to be able to use it when you are appealing to investors?
Yeah.
Right? Because broadcasting, TV, radio, it still holds a lot of power. Right? It still holds a lot of power. We speak at a given time to more than 30 million people.
Yeah.
Watching, right?
Yeah.
It's a powerful platform.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with the interview? One, do you prepare your audience and people who are following you that the interview is going to be done? How do you word it? You caption the fact that you were here on this podcast. You know, how do you tell us to watch your interview? A big mistake that people do is being too hasty in wanting to post that they were on this show. Let's say you posted we shoot on a Friday.
Yeah.
You want to post it on a Saturday already, but the thing is going out the next Friday.
Yes.
Between this Saturday and the next Friday, people have forgotten so much has happened. So you need to find the perfect time, which is normally maybe the day before, in the evening when people are about to go to bed. To say, oh, by the way, tomorrow, watch us, we'll be talking about this and that.
Yes.
In the morning, don't rush. A few hours before the thing, post again to remind people to please watch.
Yes.
If you can squeeze in a live there to say, hey guys, please, I need you to come watch this.
On TikTok, Doc.
Right? You can do that. So another blunder is that people post too quickly because they're so excited, but that post gets lost.
Yes.
By the time the interview is actually aired, no one is watching.
There's so much information out there that clouds your information.
Exactly. So that's one of the mistakes that people do. And then once you have the interview, normally you'll have a link of the interview. Find someone who can help you edit little pieces so that in that 6-minute interviews, the nuggets that you mentioned about your business, you use them in your future posts.
Yeah.
For the next 6 months, for the next year. To say on a Thursday, throw back when we were on SMME On Point, and this is the point we were talking about. We were talking about sustainability of businesses. Listen to our CEO speak about the sustainability of business. You do not know the eyes that will be watching your feed on that day.
Yeah.
But you need to be consistent. So a lot of people take that content and they think that people are going to go searching for them. No.
Yeah.
You need to make us
Guide them,
interested.
yeah.
You need so that when the next broadcaster asks you for an interview, you can say, oh, by the way, you can just check us on YouTube, or they can go to your page and see that this is not the first time you've done that. That gives you a lot of mileage, the fact that you haven't done it for the first time, So repurpose your interviews and use them in future so that people know that the media has had an eye on you before, and that things that you were saying about your business, here they are. Let's say they're talking about unemployment, and in that clip you did talk about unemployment. Clip that little part, post it, put it on also platforms that matter, right? You cannot put it on a platform where you do not have a following. You have like 6 people following you. My friend, put it there by LinkedIn, where investors, people with money put it on your
relevant
I see
platforms.
these days that a big thing is broadcast. Is it WhatsApp?
Yes.
Oh yeah. When you advertise on WhatsApp and everything else.
No. There's a new platform. I think it's WhatsApp. A community.
Yes.
Where you have your WhatsApp channels.
WhatsApp
channels. Start a WhatsApp channel, right? Where you're putting all these things. The important thing is you need to make yourself an authority in your industry, right?
Okay.
When anything that comes up that has to do with broadcasting and podcasting, you have to get your word out there, right? Use the opportunity,
please,
right?
See you.
Don't let a big wave where they're talking about, hey, podcasting this one, and you have insights on this. Use that, hey, with this big wave of podcasting, this is what we think. You use your phone. You don't, if the team is not available, you use your phone and post it. But those are some of the blunders that I've seen.
At the beginning, you spoke about, overuse of the media. I mean, do you mind just delving into what does that mean?
I absolutely do not. So there is also a danger, right, in overusing the media without purpose.
Okay.
One, you need to know why you're doing that interview, right? It may not give you money. I actually wanted to come to that point, right? It may not give you money immediately, but it may give you opportunities.
Yeah.
It may give
sales.
It may give you also different eyes, people who are watching you. Now I make a lot of my purchasing decisions based on content that a person, and I will be tracking them for a while, trusting them. Are they consistent? What are the reviews? Then I will use my money there, right? So it may not give you money immediately, but it will definitely give you new markets, new customers, and new ads. And you also want to be a trusted authority, so bigger platforms are able to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
But there's also a danger in that when you become too much, and that's all you're focusing on, and you're not focusing on the business is going to fail.
Yeah.
Are you doing these interviews and are working at the same time?
Yeah.
Or are you focusing more on getting the word out and you find that you don't even have capacity?
Yeah.
Remember, sometimes you might appeal to an audience that actually wants your products and services.
But you're not ready for it.
And then they call in droves. Now you're in a community radio station and you're telling them, I sell bags, and then they start calling in droves. They call, they want these bags. You don't have them. You only have 7. And you're telling people, we are out of stock. We don't have anything yet because you were not ready. If you're going to go that route, right, be prepared that there might be an increase in demand on what you do.
Yeah.
Can you meet the demand at that particular time?
Yeah.
And because that could actually mess up your brand.
Yeah.
Now people are coming back and they say, this guy, he never has anything in stock.
You know, what you're saying now, I remember a movie called Joy. It's about is it not telemarketers? What's the one where we'll very mark in, where you're speaking and then you say, these sales, in America there used to be a big thing there.
Yeah.
And in that movie they show how one of the lady, her name is Joy, had a place where she wanted to sell this mop of hers.
Right.
And before they even allowed her to come in, they had to make sure that she has the stock because they have the audience.
Yes.
So SABC calls me and they say, come speak about your business. And I come there and I must make sure that the app is ready, that there's customers already for my app because obviously it's a B2B2C. And on that, then I'm like, listen, I'm ready now. I need the sale. I need exposure. I need people to know who I am. Then what happens then with them is that they have a stock of 5,000. And then when they talk, it's like, hey, we only have 5,000 and it's already on 1,000 rand. 1,000 people are buying. Oh my goodness, it's flying. And that now just becomes a platform to accelerate what you are actually doing. But if you don't have the capacity, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
You're shooting yourself. And that is why it is advisable. Liabo is calling you to say, I'd like to invite you to come and speak about your product and service. It's okay to say we appreciate the opportunity. In fact, we'd love to come over, but we feel that we are currently not ready. Can you give us some time? Be professional about it. Give us some time. We'd really like to get our house in order. There is a business that sells thrifted. In fact, they call themselves, it's a thrift business. So when you get there, you swap clothes, right? That's their trade.
Yeah.
So you have, a dress that you're
not wearing anymore.
And then when you go there, you swap it for something else. It's a swap shop, right? It's in Randburg. And I had to work very hard to get that lady to finally agree because she was like, I'm in the early stages of setting up the business. I'm not sure about its success. Can you give me time? I want to see how it's going. And that made me interested in tracking her because she understood the time frame of when the business was and she was not rushing to have the interview. And the day that she said, okay, you can come through, it was on a Sunday. I don't work on Sundays. But I made the time to say, I'm getting a camera, I'm coming out there. And there were so many people. There were so many people. If you go on YouTube, you'll find that swap story shop. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I loved that. Someone else in Togoza who was getting into this Paza shop business, he is looking into becoming a hub.
Yes,
Right? Wholesale hub.
Yes, for spaza
And
shops.
it's a great model. It's an amazing one. And he also was like, I would love to be on the show, but we are not ready. And I loved that. I loved that people were honest about where they were in business at that time, even though for me, by the way, it's very important to get in the story first before anyone else. But I understand what they were trying to do. And it's also protecting your brand.
Yeah.
Right? It's also protecting your brand, which is very, very important.
So my last question is, I mean...
You want the last question already?
Yeah. No, we're
Time
almost-
flies. Time flies.
So my question is, I mean, there's a whole thing about, I mean, I was reading this book, and I think I told you about it, how they blew it. And they talk about, there's a line where the author says, the media is a fickle mistress. She loves you when you're on your way up, and she's the first one to drop you on your way down. And
Hurts.
But that's truth, though.
It hurts so much.
It's very true, and it's correct.
And I think, I mean, the entrepreneurs who love the media and they want to be out there because it makes them feel like they have arrived. But at the same time, there's this double-edged sword as well, that when things start going wrong, and there's a scandal, the very same media is the one to like front page. How would you advise entrepreneurs to sort of, have that mindset, to find that balance, to say, yes, it's good, but also because they put you up there, but you also need to be careful that if you put a step wrong, they'll also be there to cover that.
In your strategy and on your way up, it's important to have things like crisis communication, public relations,
or
plan.
PRs, yeah.
And a lot of SMEs and entrepreneurs don't want to spend money on that service, but it's very important to know that when disaster strikes and your business is impacted, how do you communicate effectively so that people know that you're not dodging the bullet. We do, of course, advocate for people to be ethical at all times so that you're not found on the other side of the law and wanting. But it's important to have at least use experts, public relations experts that will help you to craft your messaging, because you can get it wrong. Remember, that's not your thing. Right? Unless if, of course,
communication.
Communication may not be your thing, but use a crisis communication firm, a PR firm, to be able to help you manage the crisis at that time, so that you know what to say, how to say it correctly, and to manage the flow so that the business is not impacted too much. Of course, there'll be impact, but you don't want to make the damage that the business ends up dying, a kind of thing. But if you do not have the funds to be able to employ a public relations expert or whatever, never say you cannot comment on something, especially if you know that your business is involved. Try to be as available as possible, because when you go down, you look dodgy. When you say you don't want to speak, if you are not ready to speak, at least issue a statement, a written statement to say we are aware of what is happening with regards to our involvement in this. In due course, we'll be able to communicate, but we can assure our customers that we have their best interests at heart, whatever. All those things, but never not say anything, because we will not want to buy your product the next time around when the crisis has now been averted.
Because I think when it comes to crisis, there's been this, I mean, you also see it with big, corporates. Like there was this whole listeriosis crisis happening, and the CEO of, I can't remember, it's Enterprise, whatever, it was a no-show.
Even Tiger Brands, they were terrible.
They obviously own,
and there was a no-show. Ford with the Figo, blowing up,
the big one,
whatever, that brand that was blowing up, they also were a no-show. But then you have, I think there was a Pick and Pay's issue there where Sean Summers was at the front, accepting, taking responsibility, apologizing, but most importantly, putting an action plan to say, this is what we're doing, and we'll come and we'll brief you as to how. So you take the responsibility, but you also take the the community or the audience into confidence that you are doing something about it, and you will come and you will, not the lawman story where there's a whole Marikana story. We don't know who is the lawman spokesperson. Like they just hide behind, they put there at the time was a deputy president to say, hey, you are the face of this crisis, right? Yeah, and I think with entrepreneurs is don't hide, don't bury your head in the sand and hope that this thing will.
Yeah, and also invest in having a proper strategy for your business, right? Because a lot of us just wing it. But try to have someone that's professional that can draft proper things that you can even put on your website. Professionalizing your look will get you far faster rather than when you have this awesome product or service, but you're not quite professional looking, there's Canva, things that you can do for free. There's so many tools out there, and AI tools that you can put there to put a nice logo to professionalize your look, and it goes a long way. But importantly, have a growth strategy. Have a strategy that when things go wrong, who is going to be speaking? Because one thing, you don't want everyone in the company speaking. Is the CEO going to be the one speaking? If there's
they're not paying us well. We have been telling the CEO.
I'll be coming to you, Doc.
We have been telling the CEO that this thing.
But it's a problem. Then get people who are appointed and try to train them. So that should anything happen, they know how to represent you well. And with those tips, I think we are on our way to getting a vibrant SME community entrepreneurship.
So let's do what she does. If people want your services, where can they get hold of you? What can they expect to get from you?
Okay, so I'm very passionate about training entrepreneurs about how to speak properly during interviews, because I saw the gap. And I do offer services for entrepreneurs to media train them on how to do this well. I am on all social media as myself, except for TikTok. TikTok, TikTok, I am there. I'm just, I do not have my name. On TikTok, I'm a damn goddess. A damn goddess 23. That's who I am there. But on other social media platforms, you can inbox me. I'm Liabo Setho, Liabo Setho. And I'm quite responsive. And I'm looking actually to training a group of entrepreneurs, because I know that a lot of them may not have the funds to be able to do it one-on-one. But if you club together and you say, Diabo, we have 10, 20 people, can you come with your team and let's see what we can do? Because I want us to be up there. When someone speaks about South African entrepreneurs, I want them to say, those
articulate.
And I want to be part of the cohort that brings that change with the services that I bring.
Awesome. Right. Is that the pod?
That is the pod, Doc.
Take us home, Malesela.
That was very interesting conversation. And I think, we could go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, we could.
But I thank you, Diabo, for coming through. I think this was much needed. Doc will not make these mistakes anymore. I promise you.
Thank you so much.
And yes, remember everyone to like, subscribe. In fact, remember to fail forward, don't fail backwards. And yes, let's see those comments.
Don't send me or him comment.
DMs, yes. Comment on them, and we will talk to you and learn how to fail with you next week again. Thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.